Hello everyone. I'm just out of our hand-painted Disney nail art program for this week where we did Winnie the Pooh. So we did Winnie the Pooh, we did Piglet, Eeyore, Tigger, Winnie, Christopher Robin, Piglet the Owl and another Tigger. And I've had a bunch of people ask me, I did a set of nails last week with Eeyore. I'm just going to pop my iPad in front of the screen with it. These guys here. And I did a 3D Eeyore tail during that set of nails, and I popped it up on my page, and I've had a bunch of people ask me how I did 3D tail. So I thought I would just pop on and show you guys how I did it. It was done with acrylic, and part of it was made on the nail and part of it was made on the back of a form. So I'm going to scooch these guys out of the way, and I have my little hand here ready to go. Ready to have an Eeyore, a 3D Eeyore tail put on him. Okay, so I have my little brush, my little pot of liquid. I use Flirty's acrylic products. And I have a little cotton bud there that I really shouldn't be using, but you know, it's fine. And I am just going to pin the back of this form to the counter, because I'm going to need it in a couple of minutes. Okay, so to get me started, the first thing I did was his actual tail itself. So I have some powders that I mix up all my powders as I need them to get the exact colour that I want. So I've used this guy a bunch of times, and it just so happened that he worked quite well. So he is mixed up with Flirty's Clear, a little bit of Flirty's white acrylic powder and some CND pigments. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the acrylic powder on my brush. Now I've got this little pad beside me so that if I pick up too much I can pop it on the pad, and also so I can kind of let it dry a little bit. And then I can pick them up and pop them directly on the finished nail. Now, what I'm going to do is before that dries, I'm just stretching it down the nail, trying to get it the same thickness from start to finish. Kind of like pin the tail on the Eeyore. And I want it to be fairly square. Okay. Now I'm just going to wipe off any excess glitter and that's sitting on the nail just with a cotton pad. I would normally use lint-free pads, but I have cotton pads here beside me, so rather than go running off lint-free pads, I'll just use this. Okay, and I have that sitting in the middle of the nail. Now, to mark my center point of where I'm going to be putting my bow, I have a pink mixed up and ready to go. Let me put my lid back on that blue. Okay. So I'm just going to pick up a small little bit of pink, and I'm going to pop it right at the end of my blue. So I have a little ball at the bottom of his tail. Now, so using my little pad here, can you guys see my pad? Where is my brush? So I can make sure you guys can see my pad. Okay. So I'm going to pick up another bit of pink, a bigger piece this time, and I'm going to pop it down onto my pad. And I'm going to let that just start to kind of shimmy out a little bit. I'm just going to scooch the hand out of the way for a minute while I'm doing this bit, so to make sure that it's in focus. And then as that starts to dry, I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. And then I'm going to start patting it into kind of a triangle. No, not a triangle, a diamond shape. And I'm going to let that dry off a little bit before I do anything else with it. So while I'm waiting, I can pick up another bead of my pink, because I'm going to need 2 of these. And I can pop it down. Now, as this one starts to dry and you're able to get your brush underneath it, you're going to lift up half of it, a little bit more than half, and you're going to bend it over. And you're going to press the 2 ends together. Now then you can use your brush to poke down the middle a little bit and pull up your 2 sides. Now, so I'm going to bring the hand back in for this bit. I'm going to pick up a little small bead of acrylic and pop it onto the nail. And then I'm going to come back down here and I'm going to scoop my bow up and I'm going to press it down onto that bead of acrylic that I just placed. Now my bow is still wet enough that even by itself it will attach to the nail. But I like to apply an extra little bit of acrylic just for security. Okay, so that's 1/2 done. Now, I need to get underneath this guy as well. Fold him over, press him down onto the other side, and I can start bending him into shape. And I'm going to do the same thing again, a little bit of acrylic. Pop it over this side, scoop up my bow, pop it onto the nail, idea if I was doing that in the screen. If it starts to flatten, you can poke your brush inside and make them stand up a little bit more. Okay, now I need to pop a dot in the center to make it look pretty. This will also add extra security, this little dot. And it makes it look a lot more bow-like. You could just pop on the 2 bits and then do your dot afterwards, but it needs to be built up a little bit, so I find it easier to do a little dot beforehand and then a little dot afterwards. Okay, now, so for the hair on his tail then, I have a black mixed up here. And you want to make sure before you start playing with black pigments that you are totally finished everything else that you want to do on that nail, because if black gets on something it's going to ruin your whole design. So once you are happy with your bow, oh, actually before we do black, we need to put his little pin at the tip of his tail. So this is a different blue now, it's a slightly darker one. So I'm going to dip in, pick up a tiny bead of this blue that's way too big. I'm going to let that dry off a little bit first of all. So I'm just going to turn that finger sideways so that you can see how tricky that is there at the minute. And when you look down the barrel of the nail. Okay. Right, he's in place. And I've got my black here mixed up, ready to go. And so I'm going to pick up a little bead of my black. You can pop it down if you want it to dry out a little bit, if you're not sure if you've taken too much. Scoop up whatever it is that you need. Pop it onto the nail. And I'm kind of fanning it out to the sides a little bit. I'm just making sure it's nice and smooth and flat at the tip. I'm cleaning my brush to make sure there's none of that pigment stuck in it. And that is literally how I did Eeyores' tail. So now you just need to wait for a few minutes, let it dry, and your client can be on their way. Ta-da! So I hope you like that. Let me know if there's anything in particular you would like to see done, and I will be back on next week with another quick tutorial. So thank you for watching, guys, and if anybody gives it a go, please feel free to share your pictures in the group and show us how you got on. I would love to see them. So thanks a million for watching, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye!